The Quick Snap is presented by FWF, dependable solutions for the pros since 1866.
Welcome back, episode 9
Wow.
of the Quick Snap here. Season's moving right along. Look, before we get into it, Hoy, some sad news over the weekend. The passing of Nick Mangold. I got to play against Nick. I really looked up to him a lot, and I kind of remember I was really into the 2010 Hard Knocks season because he was on it. I was in high school football, playing center. Like, football was becoming my everything, and I can remember that season of Hard Knocks, watching him. He was kind of becoming the best center in football, and I didn't know him super personally. I got a couple chances to meet him and talk to him, but as an offensive lineman, you just kind of feel connected to other offensive linemen. So just super sad news in the football world. With that. So wanted to say that, and thoughts and prayers are, with his family and kids.
Yeah, terrible to hear. And being from Ohio, he went to Ohio State, knew about him long before he got to the NFL. Tremendous player by all accounts. Like, I didn't know him personally, but tremendous man, and thoughts and prayers with him and with his family. As you said, the NFL is a brotherhood. So even though you may not know someone, you know that you went through the same things, and it was terrible to hear. I mean, I just a few weeks ago read he was looking for
that was about
transplant, and all of a sudden you see that pop up. So our thoughts and prayers are with his family right now. With that being said, we can get into the Patriots.
Which we can be excited about.
We can be excited about. Okay. Another win. Was that 5 in a row?
Yeah.
5.
Five in a row. I mean, I'm excited to come do this podcast every day after a win, because there's so much to talk about. There's so much to be excited about. Once again, the quarterback shows up. I mean, at this point, I can't even keep track of the things that he's breaking or setting or whatever it is.
I have an entire list.
I was about to say,
Right.
I think Danny sent us a text message. It was like 9 tweets.
They
all
just
the
keep
different
popping
things.
up. You're like, how do you even keep track of them all?
I have them all. Let me give a quick read real quick. I'll get them out of the way. 7th straight game with 200-plus yards and 100-plus passer rating. Only 5th player in NFL history to do so. Aaron Rodgers twice, Patrick Mahomes, Tom Brady, Peyton Manning.
Good company.
Yeah,
Most games
pretty
in a-
good company.
Pretty good. Most games in a single season in franchise history with 200 yards, 135 passer rating, 2 touchdowns, breaking Tom Brady's 2007 MVP campaign record. He only had 4. Drake has 5. In NFL history, only 2 quarterbacks have ever had 2,000 passing yards, 15 TDs, and a 75% completion percentage through a team's first 8 games, the other one being Drew Brees. Over the last 40 years, 3 second-year quarterbacks have led the NFL in passer rating through Week 8. 1999, Kirk Warner.
Mahomes.
2005, Ben Roethlisberger.
Really? Not
Both won a Super
Mahomes.
Bowl. Both won a Super Bowl. So, and last one here, deep balls, which is 20 yards or more in the air. 13 for 17, 5 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, 157.5 passer rating.
Yeah, to me, the deep ball thing is so incredible because, to be that good and being that consistent, not just one game here, one game there. It's like every game, and he's not dinking and dunking it. I mean, he only completed 18 passes, but it was 280 yards.
Yeah.
These are. Obviously, the throw to Booty was incredible. You couldn't have walked the ball down there and put it and handed it off to Booty in a better location. The other scramble to Pop, he's just so comfortable. And I think you were texting me yesterday morning. You're like, "What coverage is this on the throw to Hooper up the middle?" That play is a play that went back to Tom. We ran a shit ton of it. Mac Jones, we ran it with Jacoby Myers. That right there, they're looking to get the ball to Diggs. But Drake has seen the defense so well, and they're running like a quarter half where the safety kind of messed up, and he went to the flat
That's
as opposed
what was tripping me out.
Yeah, and
what's
the
going on with
safety must not have read his keys because they're in regular base personnel, and Hooper's running up the middle of the field, and it's kind of like one of those things when you write it on the paper, you're like, just alert this in case. It's probably not going to happen. But he sees it so quickly. He gets it to Hoop for a big gain. He's seeing the defense so well, and he's understanding the plays that Josh is giving him and what the purpose of those plays are, that he's seeing, the alerts on the play. He's not just going 1, 2, 3, 4. He's seeing the proper reaction to the coverage and letting the ball rip.
Yeah, I think overall, I didn't think it was their best game they've played in this stretch, personally. And I always look at everything, and, they've been showing the Vrabel thing, in the locker room. And if you listen to Mike talk, he goes in there and he's like, there's a lot more left out there. And then he kind of reels it back in and like, well, that was a good job. Like, good job. But, you hear the Miami thing after the game. He's like, we're always going to celebrate wins. It seems like the expectation within the building's even changing a little bit. And I do agree with Coach Vrabel. Like, I left that game thinking, wow, really impressive, because I don't think they played great in certain areas, in certain times, and especially at the end of the game. Like, if I'm going to pound on one thing, I hated how they finished.
Yep.
Sack, fumble in the red area, 15-yard punt. They were covering an onside kick. Like, that right there, you could have wrapped a nice bow on the game, and I don't think they did. Now, in saying that, though, you say all of that, and Drake had the early bad interception. They still dominated. That's how good they are playing in some aspects right now. Like, they dominated the game. So it's really impressive to see how this team's going. And I think as the expectations are changing outside the building, in saying that with Mike, I think inside the building, they're starting to change a little bit.
Yeah, I think the standard is growing, and we're going to have Robert Spillane, and we'll ask him about that, like, the feeling inside the locker room, what they're expecting from themselves, the standard that's being set. But with the quarterback, it's just, to me, the interception, it was more of a physical thing. If you actually really watch as he goes a step up, his foot kind of got tripped up underneath him. He couldn't get everything he wanted on the football. And to me, like, it's not a bad decision. You'll take, as a quarterback, if there's a physical error, like you didn't throw the right trajectory on the ball, or like your feet gets tripped up, or you're getting hit while you throw it. That's going to happen. That's the NFL. But the thing that I love about him is he's just so calm. It doesn't bother him. I mean, he's got this demeanor, and at 23 years old, it's hard to remember sometimes he's only 23 years old, the way he carries himself. And we asked him about it a few weeks ago. I said, must have been because your older brothers beat you up a lot, right? And he said, yeah, like, it just, get back up and keep going. And he has that demeanor, and that you see the team have that demeanor. We talked about a fast start on the defense. Well, what happens? Browns go down, drive the ball down, throw a touchdown on a very well-designed play. You talk about the script, the touchdown to Fannin. They're in like a jumbo set. They put Fannin at the fullback, insert him through the line. You think that he's going to go and hit the linebacker for a lead type run. Now he runs to the flag. No one's covering him. Like, that's where you get into the script with teams. They're going to have these plays that say, look, we get a few runs. We set them up for this. We can hit it. But after that, they just total domination, shut them down.
Yeah. I think in saying that, what makes you good in sports, any offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator who watches 6 days of game film, right? He's going to be able to find 3 to 10 things that are going to work. But where teams really become good, and Nick Saban said this one time, it's doing the mundane good. Mm-hmm. And it's doing the little things good. That's where it really makes you a better football team. And I think this team's doing that overall, and it's it's great to see. Like, look, if you want to give up 7 points to start the game and then shove your foot down their throat for the next 3 quarters, do it. I don't care.
Yeah,
but
and the way they're doing it too, like, there's an aggressiveness of this defense that I really love, and it's not just the play call. I think Zach Core is doing a great job. Obviously, that situation going in the year, it's going to be Terrell Williams. We're praying for his health. He's done a good job filling in. I think they're starting to get a feel for what his play style, calling style is, and you see it at every level of defense. The D-line, whether it's Milton Williams or Harold Landry or Chason or Barmore, and then he gets the linebackers with, I love that Jelani Tavai's back out there, Ellis, obviously Spillane, who's our guest today. Then the secondary, I mean, what an incredible interception by Hawkins. I mean, he's looking like OBJ out there. And I was tweeting this out, like, Christian Gonzalez is top 3 corner, and he ain't 3.
No.
And he might not be 2 either.
You do the math.
What I appreciate about him is he'll cover you, and then he'll come up and hit the tight end and knock him back. There was a play with Fannin in the flat, and some corners would just say, look, I don't get paid to tackle. I get paid to cover. I've heard him say it before. This dude is a ball player. He locks down the opposing receivers, and then he gets up there and he sticks his nose up and makes good tackles. It's the type of corner you want. So at all levels, they're playing, and there's a swarming mentality. There was a play, I think one of their guys catches the ball over the middle, and immediately there's 4 Patriots right there. They're playing team defense. Their scheme is great because I think a lot of times they want to change the look for the quarterback on the snap of the ball. And the longer they play together and can be able to keep that continuity, now you can kind of trust your guys a little bit, right? Like Ninkovich was talking about it last week. You play together long enough, you kind of feel it's an unspoken word,
the communication is just easier.
Exactly.
Right? And you know what the other person's thinking. One thing, and I don't watch the film now like I used to when I was playing. I look more big picture, maybe some of the O-line stuff. One thing that kind of stuck out to me this week, Hoy, and I want to know if you've noticed it, some of the receivers' top of the route technique, I wrote it down in my notes because it just jumped off to me. I saw Booty do it once, and I kept watching, but they're top of the route, and we talked about this, it didn't matter what I did at the top of the route, thank God.
But you heard it.
I heard it, is the physicality at the top of the route. And now that's a very fine line, right? But, I watched Booty ran a comeback on the Patriots sideline. I think it was Drake was rolling out. It was a squirrel route. And he was physical at the top of the route. Pop's big touchdown, or not touchdown, but big play, I was looking at it, and I was like, how the heck did he get so open? And watching the film on Monday, he goes top of the route, gives the guy a little something. The guy completely falls down. There's no one in
little chicken
no one in the same area code as him. So, give Todd Downing, and I know Josh believes in that, but Todd Downing's obviously the receiver coach. The way he's got these receivers playing right now is great, and the top of the route thing really stuck out to me because it's such a, like I said, it's such a fine line of doing it right, but also getting called for penalties. So I think they've done a great job. He's done a great job, and all the receivers. I think if you were looking at the team going into it on offense, the 2 biggest question marks, concerns are receivers and O-line. And I think both those groups at times, especially the receivers, have performed better than what we maybe thought they were on paper.
Yeah, I think they're playing as units. You know what I mean? And I'll hit on the receivers first because you brought it up. Look, Kayshon Boutte, from where he was last year to where he is now, you have to give him so much credit because of the turnaround that he's made, not just with his attitude, but in his commitment to route running. Like you talked about the one on the sideline, and that's on Denzel Ward, who's one of the better corners in the NFL. And we call that a squirrel route, where you're going to sell the out, you're going to get vertical like you're running an out and up, and then come back down. And he torched him. And I think you mentioned Todd Downing is a great way, a guy who's called plays in the league, who understands the wide receiver position, but also Josh is going to demand it from those guys. Like the top of the route, fellas, you got to help the quarterback out. And in theory, that helps you out because you're going to get the ball. And we heard Austin Hooper last week talk about Drake in the meetings. Hey guys, if you want the ball on this play, you got to do it like this. Yeah. So they're communicating it. The guys are executing it. And when you talk about the receiver room, I mean, it's a great group because they all are rooting for each other. They're all making each other better. When Mac Hollins leads you with receiving yards, it's probably going to be a good day. Yeah. Because
it's another week of spreading the ball
around. That's what I'm saying. So Hollins, 7 catches, 89 yards. Boutte, 3 catches, 75 yards. Obviously, he gets the big one. Diggs, 2 catches, 14 yards. Spill, graciously got tripped up, so he knew he could get Diggs a touchdown.
Team player.
And Pop, the 1 catch for 44 yards. And obviously, National Tight End Day, we got Hunter Henry, we got Hoop involved as well. And so that, to me, also says Drake is not picking a guy out. He's not predetermining when he gets up there to the line of scrimmage where it's going to go. He sees the coverage. He gets to the right guy. And you can see how they all root for each other, right? It's not like and that was a big question, right, with Diggs. Like, how's he going to fit in? I think he's been a great leader in that room. He's shown these guys how to be a professional receiver, how to get open. They're learning techniques from each other. And I wouldn't trade for a receiver right now for anything. I really wouldn't, because you have a group of guys who's really doing a really good job. Hollins kind of does the dirty work.
He does.
He gets in there.
He's big.
He's big, physical. He blocks the safety, and some of his plays were a result of going in there like he's going to dig out the safety. The one corner route, he goes in, the corner goes to crack replace, because that's his responsibility when his receiver goes to block the safety. Now all of a sudden he gets out behind the corner, and then the one late in the game was a typical late in the game, hey, they're going to come stop the run, go in there, go to crack and run the quick under, and he gets a catch there. But I love this group of receivers.
Hey, David, you know what you brought up, though, before we started recording was how we were talking about in the offseason how we almost signed Chris Godwin.
That's what I was about to bring up.
Yeah, great minds think alike. But I wouldn't say we dodged a bullet, because Chris Godwin's a good leader, a good player. He's just been injured. But clearly Diggs has been the better player, and I'm glad that he's on our team instead of Chris Godwin.
I mean, it goes back to Hoy's, what'd you say about the training room? The greatest ability is availability.
Availability.
And, like, look, Chris Godwin's a great player.
Both coming off of significant injuries.
Yeah, both coming off. And that
Torn
was
ACLs.
Yeah, that was my thing with Diggs when we talked about signing him, where I was like, I'm not expecting anything from Stephon Diggs till maybe this time. You know, like, I was
he's
like,
already got 42 catches.
I know. That's what, like, I just, you see the ACL recovery, and, like, I just was like, man, it's going to take him a while to get back. That's why I've been so impressed with him. But, yeah, I mean, talk about dodging a bullet. Not dodging a bullet. Like, I'm not trying. Chris Godwin's a great player.
Great player.
Yeah, but he's been hurt.
Yeah.
Best ability is availability.
Yeah,
right.
and we got the one that is available, and he has been, to me, like you said, Hoy, the playmaking ability, I think I said this a couple of weeks ago, that has been awesome to see. But what he's brought to the team from a leadership and that standpoint, to me, is 10 times more impressive than, because he is a great player. Like, there's no doubt. But that stuff is something this team needed.
Before we get to, I know you want to talk about Will Campbell on the offensive line. That was a big storyline. But before we get there, I wanted to just talk about, one, Travion Henderson got to open it up a little bit. I know he had the fumble at the end of the game, but it was good to see him get into the second level, third level of the defense. And I really want to give credit to Josh, because he was in his bag for this game. I mean, the ability to go from, they do the fake power left, they pitch it back to Stevenson. Now here comes the play action pass and get Drake out on the boot. And then here comes the speed sweep to Pop Douglas, and then we got some play action. I mean, he is calling it at such an elite level because he understands the players he has, and obviously you mentioned before, any good coach is going to go in and have a good feel for the defense. I feel like he kept them guessing all day long, and he's done a tremendous job of adapting his system, one, for the quarterback that he has, and I think the more we watch Drake, like, yeah, he's athletic and he pulled the ball down, and they were kind of getting after him because he had a kind of a shitty slide on the play before the Booty touchdown, but he's actually become a precision passer. I mean, he's kind of like
pocket passer.
Jared Goff that can run. I mean, that's where he's at right now. 75% completion percentage, but when he gets the feeling that he's got to go, he can break off for 20, 40 yards. So Josh doing a good job of getting him on the run. I thought the touchdown pass to Hunter Henry was another great setup where Hunter blocks 1,000, 2,000. You know that his cover guy is going to think it's a run because you got action away. He sheds Myles Garrett, which is a great guy to shed because you know Myles Garrett wants to get a sack. He's not going to hold Hunter, and it's a great touchdown on National Tight End Day. So Josh doing a tremendous job.
Hey, Hoy, speaking of Josh, though, because we saw the flea flicker, not the flea flicker, but the throwback pass, then, the trick plays. That's something that comes with, trust with your offense, right? We haven't seen too much of it through the first 8 weeks. Do you expect us to see a lot more tricks up Josh's sleeve?
I don't think.
I mean, look, I'll put it this way, and David knows this. There's always a little bag of plays that is a little snack bag. But what it is, let's say Josh is going to think about using it, he'll sprinkle it in a few weeks ahead of time just so guys get comfortable, because those are such unique plays, right? And so we've seen it over the years, whether it's a throwback to Sweet Feet on the screen, whether it's the pass where Edelman kind of takes it on his own and threw it to Philip Dorsett. We've seen the throwback. He has a little, like David said, a little snack bag, and it's something that you want to build on. You're not going to just call it in a game where maybe you don't need it. I remember a year, Mac's rookie year, remember we started the first drive and we had the Fritz and dip. I don't know if you remember that. And we're like, you ain't going to call this on the first drive. He's like, you want to bet? And sure enough, we got to like the 40-yard line and he called it like the 4th or 5th play of the game, and KB threw a touchdown pass to Nelly, I think, Nelson Aguilar. So if he feels comfortable with it and they've worked at it enough, he will call them. But I think there's part of it of like keeping it in that back pocket for when you really need it as well.
Yeah, I like one thing about Josh, like to me, his offense isn't gimmicky.
No.
And
did you see what Vrabel said after the game? Like, and this is why you love Vrabel.
The opposing stat, yeah,
because Vrabel is a jerk, but he's the jerk you want on your team, and he is going to call shit out. So yeah, he was in Cleveland last year, but he's like, look, we knew we had him when they started to bring out all the gimmicks, right?
Yeah.
Like that's clearly a shot. But I almost wonder if he was like, hey, Josh, they're trying to get these trick plays on us. You got anything you want to run here to like give it back to him a little bit? I wouldn't put it past him.
I don't know. I love the way Josh calls the game. Quarterback under center runs, gun runs, motion. It's to me, it's the way football on the offensive side of the ball should be played. But
Let's just lead this into the Will Campbell, because what I said last week was I didn't think that he was going to put Will Campbell on an island, and there were a lot of chips on Myles Garrett, some of which worked and some didn't, and I'm going to let you kind of explain why that was the case.
So this is my thing. First of all, and this kind of goes back to some of the stuff I'm trying to say. If you had shown me the stat line of Myles Garrett on Friday and been like, do the Patriots win this game? I'd been like, maybe, but it's going to be hard. Like, the dude set a franchise record. And to give Myles Garrett his flowers, he is probably the best defensive end in the league, generational player. Like, the dude is special. So, kind of, I thought Will played okay. Like, I don't think he played great. At times, he did play really well. I think the most important thing I saw is that he learned in the game. And what I mean by that, so we obviously chipped Garrett a lot. The first sack of the game from Will was Garrett on his side, red zone. Hunter Henry chips. Now, when you get a chip as an offensive tackle, and look, I've never played offensive tackle, obviously, but I sat in a lot of meetings where it was discussed. And so you get a chip. That's going to create space between the D end and you, especially if you're in your normal pass set, right? So, but if you chip him and you keep going backwards, you've created 3 yards of space.
And he's a better athlete than you are.
And so what you did is essentially you didn't use your chip help, because now all Myles Garrett's going to do is get back in his rush. And that's what happened. So in reality, the chip just buys you an extra half a second. It doesn't really disrupt the rush. And so that happened twice to Will, early in the red zone and then out in the field some. Now, in saying this, and Doug Marone's a great offensive line coach in this league, and what I saw in the game on Booty's touchdown, now granted, I don't think it was a mistake this play was called at this time, right? Because that goes back to Josh and how he works. Myles Garrett was out of the game, but it's still a long developing play. Like, if you don't have to put your rookie one-on-one, why would you? So we chip again. Now on this chip, the guy gets chipped, and Will's right there off the chip as the tackle. So now the guy's got no chance to get back in his rush. If you want to see an example of it, AQ Shipley on Twitter posted it, which made me feel better because I was coached by Dante for a long time, and we did things very differently offensively on the O-line than some other teams did. So sometimes it distorts my view, and I'm like, maybe it's not coached like that. But AQ was talking about it. I was like, all right, good, I'm validated. This is how it, other people see it too. And so if you want to check out the clips and kind of see what I'm talking about, look up AQ Shipley on Twitter. But to me, that shows, all right, it happened twice. You know, whether Josh saw it, Doug Marrone, they went to the sideline and fixed it. That's a good sign. That's showing a player learning that. And I don't think it's something they haven't covered. But as a player, when you're not used to something like that, it's hard to trust things sometimes, you know, because you think on Myles Garrett, all right, I'll use my chip and I'll get ready. Sometimes you got to get on him, and that's a scary thing to do. But so I think it was a good learning curve for him, right? And look, Myles Garrett, he had one other sack too on the rollout, which, you know, he was unblocked. I think if you ask Josh McDaniels, hey, Myles Garrett's going to be on the right side, which he doesn't do a ton. He's going to be on the right side. Do you really want to call this rollout? Josh would have probably been like, no. But look, the defense gets a vote too, and they got a good vote. They got a good vote that play, so give them their flowers. And you do think on a rollout, you'll get outside of it. You'll have a quick throw it away. But
dude, I remember I'm like, this dude is a freak. Like, Drake is not slow by any means, and he hawked him down and dragged. And like, that was one of those plays. I'm like, kind of put him down nicely. Yeah. I mean, he had some great things to say about Drake after the game. Is this guy petitioning to maybe be acquired by the Patriots before the trade deadline, get out of football hell that is Cleveland?
So, I mean, I think when I look at Drake, really struggled off the chips. And to me, that's okay. It's a learning curve. And, like, those were really his worst plays of the game. And that happened on the strip sack, too. Same thing. He got chipped and left the space there. So, but like I said, he improved on that, did it not next play, but in the drive with Booty. But overall, you know, the O-line, you know, I think 5 sacks is too much for Myles Garrett. Like I said, 1 was kind of a fluke, but...
You think 5's too much, David?
Yeah,
that's a single game record.
I know. Obviously, I just said if I thought they did that, they would have lost the game, Danny. But I do think overall the run game got going, and this is something we had talked about where they were putting up 340 yards of offense, or 350 yards, and we talked about, like, if they get the run game going, that's going to be 400 yards, and it was 424 or 22, I think. Checking it out. But and a lot of that was on the toss cracks, which against a defense like Cleveland, you don't want to just run into the teeth of the defense. Like, pin them inside, especially the way Cleveland's played in Schwartz's defense. You do have the chance to get around the edge. The one long run to Henderson in the third quarter was an awesome job. And we've talked some about the finish and effort that goes into these plays. And if you look on that one, Hunter does a great job getting the crack started. That's number one most important thing to do on crack plays. Then Morgan Moses pulls. He washes his guy by. Mike runs with his guy. Jared Wilson, we talked a lot about the backside on some of these plays. Jared Wilson does a great job, seals his guy off, and, it's a 27-yard run, an explosive run, which they really had like 5 explosives. Kayshon Boutte, Drake's run, Henderson's run, Pop's run, and Hooper's play. Like that, 5 explosive plays in a game is big against a top 3 defense.
Yeah, when you're thinking of explosive plays, you're taking a quarter of the field out of the play. So to be able to get those, I mean, you mentioned it. Good coordinators, if they have some shots they want to take against the defense, they have a little box that says, when 95's out of the game, someone let me know in my headset, and I'm going to go to that box. And so a great job of Josh getting to that. I saw Drake after the game mention, like, that Booty really wanted to run that on the left side. So
a lot of his big plays have been on the
left side, which is, I mean, that's good to break a tendency maybe this week against Atlanta.
I don't know. It's interesting. Do you think there's anything to that?
I've actually never in 15 years ever thought that's never been brought up before, but maybe I wasn't paying
I saw someone
attention.
like post something or say something about it, which I was like, kind of interesting. Hasn't stopped them in 8 weeks though.
Yeah, before we close out this game, anything, Danny, you got for us on fan questions?
I got a fan question for you. This one comes from Zach P, because this past week was a little bit of a different experience for you, David. What's it like being in the stands and dealing with the ups and downs from the fans' perspective after all these years on the field?
Well,
It must have been weird.
I think first, let's not skip over the player intros. That was interesting, right? I was going to my seat in the club section, and I was like hearing it, and I was like, that's not how they announce the starters. And I looked down on the field, I was like, what are they doing? But I don't know, Hoy. Like,
what would your intro? What would you have done? Because I saw for those who
I'm
didn't
glad
see,
we ran out as a team. I don't know.
I've had to do it in other places, and
like a dog.
Yeah,
having done it at other teams, like I had no swag. So similar to like what Drake said, he's like, I don't have any swag. Like I just ran out. Like, and that's what you gotta love about this kid. Here he is, 23. Like he could be
the world's his.
The TikTok generation. He could be like, you know, and my son loves Jackson Dart, and I've really come to appreciate Jackson Dart. But like, I'd rather have my son follow in Drake's footsteps than Jackson Dart's footsteps, and he understands that his swag is the way he plays on the field.
Yeah. So that was interesting. Cool to see. I think it's great. It's a new era, but honestly, I guess when the last football game I watched in the stands was my rookie year, I went back to Georgia on my bye week and watched Georgia play. But it was different. I don't know. And there's a lot of downtime in the game.
Yeah.
Like, there's just a lot. Like,
when you're out on the field, you don't realize it because in the downtime, you're
doing
having a
something.
meeting, you're going over the pictures, like, here's the next plays.
Yeah.
The game goes really fast.
Yeah. Like, I just was like, now what? What do we do during this time?
You're sitting in a suite. You probably got a Miller Lite in your hands.
I wasn't.
Sushi.
I wasn't in the suite. I was in the club, dude. I'm a man of the people.
Slumming it.
No,
Where were you, Danny?
I was down low.
Yeah.
Did you get an autograph from a certain
I did.
Patriots alum on Sunday?
David was out pregame for the Patriots alumni, and he was signing some autographs. And I was in line, and I hid behind some people, sent my girlfriend up, and he's like, "Why is this girl getting my autograph?" And I popped out of nowhere, and I got David's autograph. It was a once in a lifetime opportunity.
It also is like interesting sitting in the club because it was like the sun is like it's nice, but the sun's like directly on you, and I was like, "Am I hot? Am I hot right now? Should I take my sweatshirt off?" I don't know. It was cool. It was a different experience for sure. I don't know. I'm just glad. Like, how long has it been since like they threw the pig to Hawkins, right? And my wife was like, "We probably need to leave soon so the babysitter can get out of here." I was like, "Kenzie, if they score here, it's over with." Like, how long has it been since we've had that? Even in a player in a game, like where you're just like, you don't let your foot off the gas, but you're like, "We got them." You know, like they're broke, and I don't know that. I know people want to stay, but like I don't know. It's just it's a good feeling when it's the middle of the third quarter and the game's over with. You know, like I don't know.
What I'll say is it felt a little bit different, like almost like the old years now.
A little bit.
I'm not saying Drake Maye's Tom Brady, but when they were only up by 2 at halftime, it was 9-7. You knew they were coming out the third quarter with some fire, and you knew they were going to put a comeback on. Whereas like the past 5 years, like this game, who knows? Could
But
go either way.
that's what I'm saying. Like it just doesn't seem like, and I don't know. Like I felt that way. Like as long as number 12's back there, we're gonna be all right. Like whatever happens, happens. Like
Now you're starting to feel that way about Drake
that's what
Maye.
I'm saying. Like you look at this team and the way they're playing. Like it just feels like something bad happens. It's like, all right, oh well. Like, and it's not in a bad sense. That's a good. You want teams to do that because look, I can tell you like some of the last few years, like one thing didn't go our way, and you felt like you were pulling a 50-ton weight out of the bottom of the ocean, trying to like, you know, and look, like one play is not going to lose you the game in reality. You know, even if you go down and you have a chance to kick a field goal and you miss, like it's not the kicker's fault. Like there's probably, you go back and look, there's 15 plays in the game where you're like, if we did that different on both sides of the ball. So that's a great mentality for this team to have.
I agree.
Yep. One last fan question before we get to our interview. This comes from May is King. May is King. That's a great handle. It says, "Hey David, can you ask Brian if this man is better than Dylan Gabriel? Thanks." And if you're listening at home, it's a picture of Brian Hoyer in a Browns uniform.
I mean, without a doubt. Only Browns quarterback from 1999, since 1999 when they came back, minimum 10 starts with a winning record. So
I'm taking Brian Hoyer over
Appreciate
Dylan
that.
Gabriel. All right, well, before we get to our interview with Robert Spillane here, you guys had a little bit of a debate about who our FWF Dependable Player of the Game was. So, Brian, I don't know if you want to take us there.
I'll say before David said, the FW Webb Dependable Player of the Game. I know he's not getting game balls from Mike Vrabel, but he's become so dependable, like David just mentioned. When you had 12 back there, you knew you were going to have a chance. Now with Drake Maye, who's the FW Webb Dependable Player of the Game again, look, you got to give it to him. I mean, it's like when he's out there, you're like, all right, when he's going to do it at some point. And then sure enough, he did in the third quarter, 18 to 24, 282, 3 touchdowns, had that interception, but 135.9 QB rating. We've already rattled off the stats, 7th straight game with 200-plus passing yards and 100-plus QB rating. Only Patriots quarterback with 5 games in the season with 200-plus yards, 135 QB rating, and 2 TDs. I mean, he's become Mr. Dependable.
Can I ask something? And this may be a dumb question and probably one I should know. How do they come up with a QB rating?
Don't worry, I don't even know.
You don't even know either.
I mean,
Ask
it's
ChatGPT.
It's just feels good to say it.
But I guess that was always, I was like, you look, maybe I'm like Mike Vrabel. I don't want to give him a game ball every week either. But so my dependable player, my FW Web dependable player of the game is Robert Spillane. One, he's our guest. That wasn't really why. But this is a guy that, early in the season, we talked about missed tackles, things like this is a guy that has gotten better and better. He's flying around the field. That was one thing, it's hard to notice things at the game, I feel like, from sitting here doing this kind of stuff. Maybe, anyone could say watching the game, Drake Maye had a great game. But I noticed Spillane being all over the field on Sunday, hitting people, tackled, obviously had the interception that should have been a touchdown, but we'll get into a little bit of that at the interview. But, I was impressed watching him on Sunday from the stands, and I think anytime sitting in the stands someone pops like that, to me, I wanted to give him his flowers today.
No doubt. And now it's time for the FW Web Dependable Player of the Game. At FW Web, people and relationships come first, and you can always depend on FW Web to find the right products and solutions for your next project. Here's the player the Patriots counted on to bring home the win, Drake Maye.
Robert Spillane.
We can give one each.
On jobs large and small across 16 disciplines, FW Web has the selection, the in-stock inventory, expertise, solutions, and people to get the job done right. For more than 150 years, FW Web has been the trusted partners for professionals across the Northeast, delivering what you need, when, and where you need it. Because at FW Web, they believe relationships, trust, and dependable service matter. FW Web, where every customer counts.
I mean, David, look, I felt like we had to give it to Drake. Comes up with 3 touchdown passes, but I like your choice of Robert Spillane. And as you mentioned, he's our guest this week, a guy that I know from playing together with the Raiders, a guy who brings his lunch pail to work every single day. I mean, a guy who basically came on the NFL scene by blowing up Derrick Henry at the goal line. And I think the Patriots fans are starting to see him really become a leader on that defense. We saw him with the pick on Sunday. And a guy who was definitely qualified to be FW Web Dependable of the Game, our guest, Robert Spillane. All right, we're joined by Robert Spillane, had a big INT on Sunday, a former teammate of mine. Spill, great to have you on. And for me, I just wanted to let the fans know, we played together in 2023 back in Vegas. Beat the Patriots, by the way. And when I saw...
On the same team now, boys.
When I saw that you were signing here in New England, I was so pumped because I was like, this is the type of guy that New England fans crave. Hard worker, undrafted, has busted his ass to get everything he's ever gotten in this league. And, man, they got to see it this past Sunday. You were all over the field, making some big hits, got the INT. What was the thought process? Obviously, you came in this league with the Tennessee Titans with Vrabel. Was that a factor when you decided to come to New England?
Yeah, having that familiarity with Coach, knowing what type of coach he is, not just as a player's coach, but the person he truly is, a man that loves his family and wants his players to succeed outside of football. It made it an easy choice for me to want to come out here.
Now, let me ask you, on the interception, did you get tackled on purpose so Diggs could get the touchdown? Because if so, that's great teammate. But I got to know, did you had a pretty open shot. It was a quarterback. So you went down, right, so Diggs could get his first touchdown? Because I think that's even better than scoring, right?
No doubt. Having Stephon get that touchdown there was huge.
Yeah.
He deserves it.
Yeah,
A
exactly.
true leader of this team and somebody who we needed to get in the end zone. So it was big for him to get in there.
Yes, Bill. I mean, I've seen it because I've been on the practice field with you, but you were a pretty, like, coming out of high school, you got recruited as a running back as well as a linebacker, right? I mean, you know what to do with that football. So to me, the only obvious answer is this team is playing so well together that you had the foresight to be like, I'm going to take it for the team. I got the ball down in the red area. We'll set Diggs up for the score.
You guys are hurting my soul right now. This hurts my soul. Like, come on. Like,
we're both offensive players, right? Like, we used to compete against
I'll get in the end zone again. I promise you I will. I will get in the end zone.
The one thing that, and people, I mean, before I play with you, what put you on the map for me was when you met Derrick Henry in the A gap, going in the goal line and basically knocked him back. Like, talk about the mentality you have as a player, because there's not many linebackers that are ferocious enough to go meet Derrick Henry right at the line of scrimmage and knock him back. I mean, that to me, I was like, man, this guy knows how to play the game, plays it right, and is going to lay the wood. Like, where does that come from in the aspect of your game?
A goal line stand as a middle linebacker, you live for those moments. You live for the 3rd and 1 on the 1 yard line against the biggest, baddest running back in the world. That being my first career start, a chance for me to make my name in the NFL, and I saw my opportunity and I was able to make a huge play. And definitely still probably my best play of my life. So we're still trying to get back to that moment.
Well, it has been awesome to watch all this year, right? Like, the defense has been playing great, been in a lot of big games. The run defense is setting records right now. But, this is something, now we're both in the media. The slow starts, that's kind of the big talking point with the team. Now, it seems like you guys like to take, maybe some of the punches, see what they're doing, and then it just shuts down. And it's like our punches are better than y'all's. But talk a little bit about that. It seems like teams have had a lot of success early, and then it kind of shuts down.
Yeah, teams come in here with a script of plays that they want to get going early on that first drive. And we have not done the best job this year of getting off the field that first drive, and we're still searching and working as a team, as a defense. How can we get off the field? We had them on 3rd and long. The Browns could have been a 3 and out, had rush home to the quarterback, and that was actually me. I got to get that ball down. I got to match the hand and block the pass from ever making it out of Dylan Gabriel's hand, and then we get that drive stopped early, 3 and out, and get the ball back to our offense. So that's always our goal. And that's why we continue to work.
Well, you guys do it throughout the rest of the game. Amazing. I mean, I think I'm not a huge stat guy, but I do some different shows. And someone said, like, it's the best third quarter team in football. What you guys do coming out of half. Are there a lot of adjustments you guys feel like you make in game, or is it just settling down through the game?
Settling down, relying on our details, technique, fundamentals. Being so stout in the run game, having our D-line whoop so many blocks and make so many tackles really lets our back end play coverage and focus on that. One of our unsung heroes has definitely got to be Marcus Jones, who's just made plays all over the field, both in the run game and the pass game for 8 weeks straight now. And somebody who's small, a nickel slot corner who is making TFLs on a weekly basis and then making 3rd down stops in the pass game has been huge. Our D-line has just demanded the line of scrimmage all year, so I couldn't be more proud to play behind a group like that.
Yeah, it's a great group. I think the one thing that we saw, in the offseason, we talked about, obviously, you sign here, Harold Landry, Milton Williams. Like, it seemed to me there was a concerted effort to really bring in some really good veteran players who, one, are going to fit the scheme, but also be leaders on the defense. We see it from you. We see it from Landry. We see it from, you mentioned Marcus Jones. I'm glad you mentioned him because Marcus is a guy we both played with, and he's finally kind of getting his flowers, so to speak, because playing nickel's tough. You got to defend the pass. You got to defend the run, you got to stick your nose up in there. And we were texting during the game the other day, like Marcus is becoming one of the best nickel defenders in the NFL. And I think what I see from you guys is, and look, the script is the script. And if guys can stay on track, they've rehearsed those plays all day Friday. They walk through them Saturday. They know what they're getting on Sunday. So you're going to take their first punch. But the way you respond has been so impressive. And just talk about the leadership that not only yourself, but some of those other veteran guys have brought to the team.
I'm so proud of the leadership we have on all three levels of this defense. Not only is our D-line full of leaders with Barmore and Milton Williams and Harold Landry and Kay Levon, our linebacker has a group of leaders with Jelani, Gibbons, Ellis. And then behind us are another group of leaders with CD and Gonzo on the outside, Jalen Hawkins, and even Craig Woodson, a young rookie who's really stepped up big for us this year on defense.
All right, so I was at the game Sunday, and I'm walking to my seat, and all of a sudden I look up, and I'm like, what is going on? This is strange. Introducing the players individually, right? I don't know. I know we played you when you were with the Steelers, and then we came to Vegas. I don't know if you ever played here or not, but, that was never a thing with the Patriots. It started with Mike when he was on the team. How did that come about? Did the players bring that? Was that Vrabel, was that his idea? Not to give away anything you don't want to, but how did that come about? Because that was a new change, and it was interesting to see, I think, because it is a new era of Patriot football.
Yeah, and it's a new era. It's a brand new team, new guys, new traditions. Yes, we're going to honor the traditions that were here in terms of playing our hearts out, playing with effort and finish on a daily basis, being good teammates, making great decisions. But at the end of the day, this is a new era of Patriot football, and Vrabel asked the guys if they wanted to be recognized individually coming out of the locker room, and our leadership group decided that that's something that we were interested in doing.
Yeah, hitting on Vrabel, I mean, obviously you had some familiarity with him. You said it had a little bit to do with deciding to come here. Talk about the type of coach he is. You've had a lot of different coaches, right? You played for Tomlin, you were out in Vegas with Josh and then AP, and now Vrabel, a guy who played defense like you. I think the one thing that's so great with the media and like the behind the scenes and the post-game locker room, we really get to see his personality and the way you guys respond. We were loving it when Drake gave him the game ball in Tennessee, and Diggs is shoving him, Schooler's in there, and he's ready to swing back. Like he gets in a fight in training camp. Like, what does that energy from a head coach do to a team? Because that's the way you guys are playing on the field.
That is everything to us. I'm telling you, those first 15 to 30 minutes of the day when coach walks in the team meeting room to set the energy and the tempo for the day, that is so big to me as a player, and that's what you look for. You look for that consistency in a coach, somebody who's going to bring energy and passion every day that he walks in this building. You know what to expect from coach. He's going to have high expectations from his best players. He's going to hold you to the highest standard, but that's what you want as a player. And I'm proud to play for a coach, and I know all of our guys are.
Spill, one thing I've been really impressed with this team is, and I know me and Hoy played on some of the same teams together. We played on some good ones and bad ones. But the good ones, they never let mistakes or errors compound. And sure, the team might go out and get the opening drive. You guys, the last few games have been, it's been 10-3, 10 to whatever. This team feels like, to me, when I watch y'all, no matter what, it's just kind of like good or bad. Next play, we're moving on. That's been really cool to see for me. I've seen it from the quarterback, and then you just feel it from the whole team. And the defense, like we said, slow starts, and then it's like, all right, that's it. Enough's enough. There's got to be some mentality and belief in the team that has got you guys playing like that. Like this next play mentality, we're not compounding errors.
No doubt. And I think that speaks to a volume of things, not only the people that they made sure to bring in this building in the offseason, but also how we were coached, how guys on this team were raised as individuals to be hardworking, to stand in the face of adversity with a smile on your face, and to know that there are brighter passages ahead. I think guys on this defense know that we're going to be punched in the mouth, and we're going to be punched in the mouth again, but we're going to stand up and punch back and keep swinging with everything that we have.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, it's a great mentality to have. And it really, the guy that I've been most impressed with who's had that mentality is the other side of the ball for you is the young quarterback, Drake. I mean, this is your first year with him. David played with him last year, then got injured, knew him a little bit. I mean, he's kind of shocking the world right now with how consistent he's been, but also he gets better as the game goes on. Like, what does that do for your mindset as a defense when you know you have this guy who's really in the MVP race? And the best part about him, he's so humble, he doesn't even hear the chants on the field. But what does that do for the whole team when you have a young quarterback who just is like, all right, aw shucks, let's go next play. Let's just keep going.
When you have a young elite quarterback who's a game changer, who's can do it all, it puts more pressure on you as a player, and you want that as a player. You want to go out there and say, we got to perform because we have this great young player who is going to make plays on the offensive side of the ball. Just get him the ball, and they are going to do great things. Ever since OTAs, I've been just overly impressed by how he not only leads his offensive players, but leads this team as a whole. He has relationships with every guy in that locker room. So just to have that leadership at such a young age and energy and passion, and he just comes in here to work every day. We know that he's our quarterback and he's going to take us as far as we could go. So we as a defense have got to be great for him.
That's incredible, dude. I mean, it's been so fun to watch you guys. Like I said, when I get to see these post-game celebrations, it reminds me of the teams that David and I were on together. Keep doing your thing. I know you're going to get in the end zone at some point. You had the pick earlier.
You gave Diggs his one.
Keep
now go get
yourself,
yours.
Okay? Love watching you play. You play the game the right way. One of my favorite teammates. I remember you're playing with a broken hand out in Vegas. Like, it doesn't matter. You're going to play through it all. You're a great leader, and the Patriots and the fans here are lucky to have you. Thanks for spending some time on your off day with us today. Good luck this week. Go get them.
You look
Brian and David, sincerely appreciate you guys. Thank you,
man. You look a lot better in Patriot colors than them Steelers or Raiders colors. That's for sure.
No doubt, baby. Let's go.
Let's go, brother.
Thanks, Bill.
Appreciate you guys.
All right, Hoy. Big week coming up. Got an unfamiliar opponent coming into town, the Falcons, this week. It's an interesting one to me because I would say the Falcons have a good defense, but they just give up 30 to the Dolphins, who've looked really bad the last few weeks. I don't really know what to think of this Falcons team because they're one of those teams right now. You know, they do what they did against the Dolphins. Carolina blows them out. They're almost like the Panthers a little bit in that sense, where you're just like, they beat the Bills. You're like, what's going on here? You know, it'll be interesting to see this week. Penix is dealing with a bone bruise in his foot, and those are tough injuries.
I think it's his knee.
Is it his knee? I thought it was his foot.
I'm pretty sure it's
so we'll kind of get some updates here tomorrow on the injury status, what he's doing.
Can I tell you the one key to the game if you want to win this game? Bijan.
Yeah.
Just take Bijan out of the game, make it one-dimensional. Whoever's playing quarterback, make them drop back and throw the football. Do not let Bijan be the one. Like, this is a week you'd walk into a Wednesday meeting and Bill would just write, like, Bijan Robinson.
Yeah.
Like, do everything you can to make sure he doesn't beat you, and it's going to be good. And then on the flip side, offensively, continue to run the football. Because they do have some pass rushers now, and you don't want to get one-dimensional. So continue to build on the rushing attack you had last week, and don't turn it over.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the biggest thing right there, and that's the recipe to win this game.
Yeah, look, another home chance to prove the record to 7-2, but that will lead us into our Miller Lite legendary moment. It's got to be the Super Bowl. I know you weren't there. 28-3.
I was watching on my couch in Chicago, Illinois.
This game is such a look at that good-looking fella.
Guy.
God, I love
How old are you, David, right there?
Huh?
How old are you right there?
16. So I came into the league at 23. So 24.
Young buck.
You look
good.
I got 2 rings that year. Married that offseason, and then lost my wedding ring the next preseason.
You exchanged it for a good one.
That's why I went.
Coming from a guy who's not married.
Sorry, Mackenzie.
No, that's why I got a tattoo. So
there you go.
But look, unreal game. Just, I don't know, man. It was it was obviously my first Super Bowl. It's crazy to be a part of that because I don't think it'll ever be done again.
Did you know that wasn't the first 28-3 comeback in NFL history?
Oh, it was Cleveland Browns, the Browns.
Much smaller stage.
It was awesome. I think one thing I think about is, just the way the team and it goes back to what we were talking about earlier. We never got down. Mm-hmm. We never freaked out. No one panicked. Julian was, doing his classic one-liners that it's going to be a hell of a story, babe. All right, Julian. No, but it was great. And the locker room, everyone wants to think like, oh, this pregame, like what was the speech? There was no major speech at halftime.
I love that part of it.
The one thing I do remember is Josh coming in and writing up, 44 plays, whatever the time of possession was, which is a lot for our first half of football. Yeah. And he was like, you guys got to make this count. And we were in such great shape. We ran the hill the week before. A little side note to this, kind of a funny note in practice, Ernie, the mysterious Ernie, bust his head open at practice, fell back, hit concrete, split his head open. And I think it was on a Friday. He goes in and gets taped up, dude. He comes back with like a mound of tape on his head.
Like a mummy?
Yeah, like a mummy with like his hat sitting on the mound. I don't know. Yeah, there we go. His hat was like sitting up here, and everyone was just like,
slow clap?
Yeah, it was unreal. Stop practice. And then another interesting note from that week of practice, we had the direct snap in the game. And, you usually only carry like two-point plays into a game, right? Like it doesn't come up that much, once a game maybe. And, one of them was a direct snap. And I'll never forget, you practiced that stuff on Friday, and they call it, and I snapped the ball, which I took a lot of pride in snapping the football. I snapped the ball. The ball's still in orbit somewhere over Houston. And, so I was like, damn, because you mess something up on a Friday.
Yeah, it might get scratched.
That Josh is sitting back there like, nope.
Yeah.
And it came up in the game, and, obviously we executed it. James White, this was just what he did in this game. Unreal. And it was one of those games where the scoreboard didn't reflect how we were playing. The pick six was on their side of the 50. LeGarrette Blount had a fumble on their side of the 50. So we were moving the ball. It was more about us than it was the Falcons. And yeah, there we go. Malcolm Mitchell, my Georgia boy. I think also fun story. I think Malcolm Mitchell is the only rookie to ever catch a pass from Tom Brady in the Super Bowl, which is an awesome stat. Shows what, how much trust Tom had in him. But look, everyone contributed. It was one of those games where, like, people don't talk about this a lot. We had a kickoff and we pinned them deep. Great special teams tackle, Slate, all those guys, Ebner. And if we didn't pin them deep on that special teams play, they probably would have been in field goal position at the end of the game to kick it, put it out of reach. So
yeah, I mean, from a fan's perspective, because that's what I was, and obviously I had a little bit of personal ties to a lot of guys, whether it was Tom or Devin or Jules or whoever, Gronk, that I had played with, like wanted you guys to win because of my relationship with them. But when Hightower got the strip sack, you were like,
it's over.
This is the and High doesn't get enough credit for the Super Bowl against Seattle
February.
Because everyone wants to talk about the play Malcolm made, but if you go back and watch the film, he tackles Marshawn Lynch while getting blocked with one arm on the play before that to really save the game. And so High, ultimate competitor, and
great player.
When he got that strip sack, and you'd love to hear Matty P talk about that, because remember he talks about how they move Hightower late to the ball.
Well, it was because Coleman was the
was their
Falcons' third down back.
He got hurt.
He got hurt the play before, so Matty P started realizing like
it's gonna be Freeman.
Yeah, Freeman hasn't done this stuff. So just awesome game on all three sides of the ball.
Can I ask a question since you're an Atlanta native?
Yeah.
Does Atlanta ever get over that?
No.
I
just, and for me, I think the cool thing for me personally, the two Super Bowls I won, I beat my hometown team, which I have a connection with. My uncle was the head coach there for a while. And then I won another Super Bowl in Atlanta. So it's been good. The Atlanta Super Bowls, if Atlanta's tied into the Super Bowl, we were winning. So
that's awesome.
Awesome game. I don't know. So people love talking about it, and obviously I do too, but it almost feels like such a blur, you know, like, because I kind of like, you know, I'm blacked out what happened, you know, like.
Did you black out after? That's the important question. How drunk did you get? How many Miller Lites did you have after this football game?
I couldn't tell you the legendary story from after because there was too many of them. Well, that makes it a legendary story, I guess.
There you go.
That's why this is our legendary moment, presented by Miller Lite. Legendary stories start with a light. Here's the 50 years of Miller time.
Miller Lite isn't just any light beer. It's the original light beer. And when Miller Lite arrived 50 years ago, time became Miller time. And fun nights became stories worth telling. Miller Lite celebrating 5 decades of legendary moments because legendary stories start with a light. All right, with that being said, David, we put a bow on last week. Let's talk about around the NFL because really, I know it's a little weird now with 17-game season, but we're at the halfway point. Yeah. I mean, once you get to halftime of the next game, but you got to feel pretty good if you're the Patriots and you're seeing what's going on around the AFC, around the league. You're sitting here at 6-2, have an opportunity to play at home again against a team you should be 7-2. That win over Buffalo is huge right now. Obviously, Buffalo bounces back, has a huge game against Carolina. The Chiefs seem to be back in control of the AFC West, although I would say Joe Alt comes back for the Chargers and Justin Herbert is lighting things up.
That division's going to get messy with the Broncos, Chiefs, Chargers, so it's going to be a close race. I think, look, the Chiefs right now, are they a great team? I don't know. But as long as they have number 15 at quarterback, they're going to be there some way, and you can't count them out. I think I saw something right now. If the playoffs started tomorrow, the Patriots are hosting the Chiefs.
That would be so wild.
You can't say the Chiefs aren't a great team right now. I think they're number 1 team in the NFL power rankings, like bar none.
I don't look. That's fine. You can say that. I can have an opinion too. I don't think they are a great football team right now. And then again, saying that, look, they used to say that about us, and that's fine.
Can I say why I think that is and why they end up going to the Super Bowl last year? Because they have built a culture like what the Patriots are trying to build, what you and I were
They know how to win.
They can win on culture, and they weathered the storm of not having Rashee Rice, not having Xavier Worthy. The defense is very well coached. Spagnuolo is probably one of the best.
That's the thing. You got
coordinators.
All this,
they have it.
They have all this right now.
So you can't deny it.
That's what I'm saying. I'm not counting them out, but I don't think they're my Super Bowl favorite.
The one thing that could really help is because they had a few of those losses early on. If you do have to play them, if the Patriots keep handling business, maybe you get to play them at home.
Yeah.
Because even though it's probably both of our favorite games of our career is going and beating them in the AFC Championship,
I want this team to play at home.
I'd want them to play at home too.
Yeah, I mean, that. Look, and I'm not saying if they have to go on the road in the playoffs round 1 with whatever happens, they're automatically losing. But let's just call a spade a spade. Usually it's easier to play at home than it is on the road, especially in the playoffs. Look, I don't know. The league's kind of taking shape. You're seeing Buffalo reach their old form. Now, big news out of Buffalo, Ed Oliver.
Yeah, tricep.
Was it tricep?
I think it was tricep.
I mean, that's a huge blow for that team. Ed's a great player. Obviously, I don't think he played in the first game with the Pats. So
he won't play in the next one.
No. So, but I don't know. It's just the teams that, and this Colts team.
I know.
I don't know what to say about
who would you take as coach of the year right now, Vrabel or Shane Steichen? I mean, that's kind of tough, right?
You got to put both.
Yeah.
Like both are jockeying for it, right? I mean,
they both going to end up
they both have the 1 and 2 teams in the country right now. I guess.
Danny, have you done your power rankings of the week yet? I'd love to hear that.
Yeah, I got my power rankings.
All right, let's hear it.
I mean, we got Chiefs at 1.
Okay.
Lions at 2. Packers at 3. Bills 4. Colts 5. Patriots 6.
Are you like? I don't get you because you're buying tickets to San Francisco, but then you put them 6.
I'm realistic. I'm just realistic.
But why buy the tickets to the Super Bowl and then put them 6?
Well, because it's on David's tab.
No, it's Hoyer's tab.
No, I never agreed to that.
I mean, but I still think the Chiefs are like the team to beat.
What I haven't watched a lot of the Packers. What do you guys think? Because I'm not like blown away by them. But
Yeah.
I mean, obviously Micah, like that defense is good. But
yeah, the
Jordan
defense
Love
is good.
legit. I mean, Hoyer, you can speak to Jordan Love, but he looks fantastic.
Yeah, Jordan Love is like, to me, not last year, but the year before, like the last 7 games, Jordan Love almost had like a Drake Maye-esque run, like what Drake. I mean, he was like passer rating, touchdowns, like yard, all that stuff. Last year, I felt like he kind of, I don't want to say he took a step back, but he kind of stayed at the same level, and now he's starting to get back up to where he was at the end of the 2023 season. Look, there's a lot of good teams out there. There's a lot of good players out there, a lot of good quarterback play. Matt Stafford. I mean, what Stafford's doing right now in year 17 is incredible. Him paired with Sean McVay, they've been paired together for 5 years now. But the one thing that I'll say is, every week I watch this Patriots team play, the better I feel about them going up against some of these teams, going up against the Chiefs, going up against the Colts, whoever it may be. And as you and I both know, David, the goal is to make it into the dance. And at that point, it doesn't matter about experience. It matters about execution. And I think Vrabel is building a tough, resilient team. They don't get knocked down. If they do, they get back up and move on to the next play. And so they're building a great standard, and they just got to handle. I mean, as crazy as this sounds, I was getting treatment yesterday with my guy James, and he's kind of like a little skeptical. I think there's a lot of Patriots fans like, is it too good to be true?
Oh,
I'm like,
I think I get a lot of
dude, let's go through the schedule. They should win. I mean, Tampa Bay will be a great challenge, right?
So what do we go? Falcons,
We're
Tampa.
going the Fingers game again. We got to count the wins on the Fingers.
All right, let's go. Can we get the schedule put
I
up
just
there?
want to know our next few games here. I know Falcons and Tampa, right?
We're going to pull it up here in a second. But, yeah, we got Falcons up next. Tampa's next after that. And then we got the Jets on Thursday night at home. Bengals at Cincinnati. And then the
All right, let's
Giants.
just do to the bye week then.
Yeah.
All right, so go. Start with the Falcons.
Win.
Bucks.
Win.
Loss.
I have a loss there.
I don't think the Bucks defense is that good, and I think
You're changing your tune because you
I
counted
am.
this a loss.
But
And
I've watched
I think
more
I've
football.
always said this was a loss.
But the more I watch the Bucks play, like they went to Detroit and they couldn't handle Detroit's offense. And I will say this: if the good of both teams is the offenses, I would take the Patriots defense over the Bucks defense.
Still scary to go down to Tampa Bay.
Of course.
Let's call it 1-1.
All right, fine.
Jets at home. That's a win.
Win.
Yes.
Bengals. Joe Flacco sneaky in Cincinnati.
Win.
I agree. Giants.
Win.
Scadaboo's out. That was a devastating injury to that team.
That was sad.
That took all the air out of their sideline. It was tough. I mean, it was, and I was texting you guys because I saw it in slow-mo. It was, I don't get queasy, but it was so bad. It looked like his foot was just disconnected from his whole leg.
All right, I'm going to throw up.
Disgusting. I got queasy. I have a question on injury report and kind of to the Ravens because the Ravens on our upcoming schedule too, and I think they're a little sneaky if Lamar gets back.
Of course. I mean, Lamar is an MVP player and what he does to a team, because I think what it does to an opposing defense is they have to defend every blade of grass.
Yeah, it's so
it
hard.
is sneaky. It just...
How does the injury report work? So did you see this? They might get fined because he was listed as a full participant in practice, but it was on the practice squad. He doesn't play Sunday, and now the Ravens might get fined.
So-
How does this work?
The practice squad.
He was on the scout team.
Oh, because he played in the scout team?
Yeah, he was a full participant. But
Yeah, you could do that. I actually did that once when I was coming back from a concussion. I wasn't going to be able to, they didn't want me to play that week, but this is when I played for the Texans and I was a starting quarterback. They wanted to have me have a full week of practice, not play a game. So I was a full participant in practice, but I didn't play in the game. So I don't know, how that works as far as, because what was he listed as?
He was listed as a full participant,
But
in
didn't
practice.
play.
Yeah,
Like that to me is not, that's an accurate description of what he did. They can choose to play whether they want to play him or not.
he didn't dress on Sunday.
Yeah, but I guess that's
So there's a lot of guys that practice full all week. And
the
then
way
don't
that I've
play.
always heard the injury report described is if you can go out and do the dog and pony show and go through warm-ups, which we've all been, you've been asked to do it. Tom did it with the red gloves when he cut. Like that's considered limited.
Yeah. I did it one day post thumb surgery.
Right. Like you can go out and do warm-ups and do the media part of practice, and that can be considered as limited.
Who declares you questionable? Like when the injury
So
reports-
I don't know that.
This got explained to me one time because I basically did like in 21 I had torn up my shoulder, right? And I knew I had to have surgery. We didn't know the extent of it. But so like they started taking, some reps off. And when I mean reps off, like one a period, it felt like. So like I went out there one day, I did everything one-on-one, everything we did, and I was limited, and I like came in and I was probably just being an asshole. I was like, how the hell am I limited? I did everything. And they were like, look, like, we could say what they want. Like, really, when I think guys are questionable, I think it's like a 75% chance.
Right, like something
play.
would have to drastically go wrong from Friday to Sunday morning.
Like, I think it's like a 75% chance that you play. So you could have like an ankle injury, right? And maybe go out there and do a little bit and still be questionable. And then Sunday morning work out before the game at a higher tempo maybe. And, be like, look, I planted wrong or I just don't feel right.
I guess to Danny's question, like Lamar could be a full participant on Friday's practice, but they don't have to play him on Sunday. Do you get what I'm saying? Like that to me, there's no like the guys who are inactive on Sundays who are just not. They're not going to be a part of the game plan. Are full participants.
Envy, the guys in the studio are helping me out here. They changed on Saturday. They retroactively changed his status on Friday. They changed it on Saturday what his status was on Friday's practice. So it looked bad, and that's what they're looking into.
That is bad because you can't.
You talking about like because like schematically like trying to
like
make
a
them
team's
prepare.
like, oh, is he playing or not?
Gotcha.
Like you can't say like. Yeah, David was limited because the NFL gets all the film. So they can go look and double check it and be like, hold on, you said David was limited. We didn't see him for one rep. So like, you can use it in the wrong way.
Wasn't Tom like infamously listed as like limited for every practice for like one season because of a knee or something like that?
Shoulder injury.
Like that. I mean, look, I'm not going to get into 90% the semantics
of guys are limited every day.
After week one, if you played in a football game, you're never going to be 100% again.
No.
So,
and especially like veteran players, like you're not going to try to, like Tom wouldn't. Like I remember, and you might remember this. Like there was like times on a Wednesday practice when we were just running the ball during actual practice, not a running drill, but like our team drill.
Yep.
Like. It would be a running play, and there goes Tom off the field. Like, he's like, I'm not doing that.
Yeah, that's what I had to do.
Yeah, we had like 4 or 5 run plays. It would be like Hoyer come in or whoever come in, Jimmy come in. So, I don't know. It can get messy, though. But I don't think a lot of teams really try to mess with it because there's no need to.
Right. I mean, the risk.
Yeah, the risk versus reward. Like, you're not gaining that much of a competitive advantage, in my opinion.
Cool. Well, one last thing before we get out of here and wrap up this episode, because it's topical. NBA betting scandal. Crazy right now. The rigged poker games, players throwing games, things like that. We've talked about this on the side, but like, can you guys explain to fans why you don't think this can happen in the NFL?
Well, I'll take it from me, and we were texting last night, and to me, the only person who can actually guarantee to affect the game in a negative manner would be the quarterback, and I think it would be so obvious. Like, Danny, you brought up, like, you could be the DB and, like, fall down. Like, that, then you have to count on the quarterback, like, not throwing it or throwing it to your guy, your defensive line. Like, imagine if you were a DB on the Browns team and you wanted to throw the game, but all of a sudden Myles Garrett gets 5 sacks and, like, you did your part to try to, like,
leave someone open.
Like, leave someone open. It's just, there's too many moving parts where I feel like in basketball, like, we've seen some of the passes, like Terry Rozier is just like literally like gives it to the other team.
But Hoyer, so as a new to being able to gamble, as an experienced gambler, the problem in the NBA is all these.
Would you consider? You got a lot of winnings. Would you experience?
I say experience with years of doing it.
Hey, I did my event at DraftKings. Like, I support them. I think it's. I think it's
wild. What I'm saying is the prop bets are different. So, like,
what does that mean?
Exactly. So, like, Terry Rozier has like a certain amount of assist over under per game.
Oh, okay.
He's like, I'm gonna get less than 5.5, and he's gonna bet on the under. So he's like taking his own prop bets. I'm not saying that's exactly what Terry did, but that's the example. In the NFL, you can still do that. Like a receiver could have over under a certain amount of yards, certain amount of catches, things like that.
Yeah,
but
like
if you're
also,
the receiver, and I guess it'd always be easy to take the under and then like drop a ball. I guess if that's the way you're putting it. Yeah,
I don't know.
Have you ever had like I've never in 15 years was I like this dude's messing up on purpose.
I think one thing in football is you only have a limited opportunity to play the game.
Yeah.
In the sense of 17 games versus 82. Like basketball, like you lose a Wednesday game, you're like,
just move on.
Yeah, let's move on. You got a game. You got a game in 24 hours sometimes. You know, football, it's like you put so much into it for 1 week. I also think too, the one thing I hate about it is it makes you question the integrity of all the sports, right? And it goes into like the Saints thing, right? Like because that was a recent example
of Bounty Gate.
No, like bad officiating.
Oh,
the Saints game.
okay.
Like I thought you meant Bounty too.
No. Like the Saints bad officiating, right? Like, look, that stuff happens. They're humans. They make mistakes.
Yeah.
Now, when that stuff happens, in my opinion, what's human nature?
To question if it's on purpose. I mean, that call on Diggs on the Pop Douglas, that may be the worst call in the NFL history.
There's been a lot of terrible calls, but
how about the other day in the Philly game? They do the tush push
and the fumble,
and he rips the ball out. Like, there's no way that they're blowing for forward progress that quickly. Like, he's still moving forward.
I think I hate it because it's human nature. That's going to be your first go-to now. Instead of just being like, it was a terrible call, they made a mistake. You're like, oh, the ref got money on the under, whatever it may be. I don't know. I don't think it's ever happened in football. Like Hoy said, it's too many variables that can go into it. It's the same thing, like even in baseball. Like, you know, like I don't know. It's a mess. Also,
the baseball, weren't there like pitchers now that I'm understanding what a prop bet was, like whether the first pitch would be a strike or not, and they just like completely throw it in the dirt. I think there was a guy
that can totally happen
in Cleveland.
Yeah, the prop bet. I don't understand the betting stuff, so like some of this stuff is interesting.
Is that like when they get like the bet is like what color the Gatorade would be?
Yeah, that's like an extreme example that like people are just having fun with, but like. Day in and day out, people are betting on over/under points scored in an NBA game, over/under catches in an NFL game,
and that's what when I think of betting, that's what I go to is like the spread, win-loss.
There's a lot more than just who wins the game and what the total points are.
Speaking of baseball, I know we had a little discussion about that epic 18-inning World Series game.
Shout out
Freddie Freeman,
all-time Brave,
the walk-off. But to your point, Danny, you were asking, is Shohei Ohtani, with the performance that he's had, not just in this World Series, but in the NLCS, like greatest athlete of all time?
We could spend the next 6 hours debating the greatest athlete of all time. I think Tom Brady is probably at the top. But you talk about freak athletes, I think Shohei Ohtani is at the top.
Let's go
list.
Top 5. Everyone go top 5.
What are we saying? Like
top 5
athletic abilities?
No.
Yes.
It's your top 5 athlete.
No, not success.
Not success, because Tom Brady's number 1.
Yes.
On success?
No.
Not on success.
No.
Okay, go ahead, David.
All right.
Let's alternate.
I'm going to go Bo Jackson, number 1.
I agree with you, Bo Jackson.
Professional sports.
Yep.
I had him 3.
Mine's not ranked.
Yeah,
1 to 5.
mine's not ranked.
David, just list yours off 1 through 5.
Okay.
All right. Bo Jackson, Dion, 2 professional sports. Michael Jordan because of his baseball stuff and obviously one of the best. Sneaky, I'm putting Michael Vick in mine. What he did at quarterback and growing up in Atlanta, my uncle drafted him, coached him, like it was mind-blowing.
I could see that.
Well, this isn't a list of good guys, so yeah. But
I got one more.
He's redeemed.
I got one more. And my last one is going to be Tiger Woods.
I like it.
That's because of my playing golf and what he did. It's the hardest sport to play.
That to me, like the first 3 guys you mentioned were off the top of my head. Bo Jackson, if he doesn't get hurt, I think he becomes a perennial all-star in baseball and Pro Bowler in football. Incredible. Dion was one of my favorites growing up because I was a baseball and football player, watching a guy do it professionally. I mean, one of the greatest 30 for 30s is when he played in the Atlanta Falcons game.
Flew
and then played in the Braves game. It's incredible. Michael Jordan, to me, obviously he was a great athlete on the basketball court, but he did play professional baseball. And I know it didn't work out for him, but in my opinion, hitting a baseball is the hardest thing to do in all of sports, which is why Ohtani is not just a hitter. You go back to the NLCS and he struck out 10 dudes. He's throwing 100 miles an hour. Like, I think he's like this generation's version of Babe Ruth, which
He struck out 10 dudes and had 3 home runs in the same game.
right, like that's unheard of. So I would throw him in there. And then I remember this guy's name and probably learned it from Bill, but also the history. A guy named Jim Thorpe, which, Danny, you probably have no idea who this dude is.
I do.
So when I looked him up, because I knew we were going to talk about this, he played professional baseball, football, basketball, and also won gold medals in the Olympics, was the first president of the NFL. And I wanted to, like, make sure he wasn't just, like, you know, this, like, athlete back in the old... He was, like, 6'1", 210. So I have a feeling he could have been a dominant athlete in any era, but to be able to... I think he played... for multiple teams in the Ohio area. So I remember growing up hearing about him, and then Bill kind of reaffirmed it for me. There's other guys that come to mind. I mean, LeBron James might be the most athletic.
LeBron's on my list.
I'm not putting
but I don't want to put him on my list either.
LeBron would be a dominant NFL
I like
receiver.
me and Hoy were arguing about this on the golf course this morning, and he talked about Michael Jordan playing baseball, and I said, because I was all in on Tom Brady, and I said, well, Tom was also drafted to the MLB.
He was.
So.
Expos. That's one of the greatest ads ever. When he wakes up from having the dream of having like a 7 World Series career playing for the Expos. Yeah. And I think they even got Pedro in that ad.
It's awesome. All right, those are good lists.
What do you got?
My list, quick, is Michael Jordan, Shohei Ohtani, Bo Jackson, All-Star MVP in the baseball game, Bo Jackson, LeBron James, and Calvin Johnson, Megatron.
I thought about Calvin.
Megatron is impressive, dude.
I thought about Calvin, but then I remembered I can't hit a golf
honestly,
ball.
like, Myles Garrett, to be able to do what he does at his size. I sent a picture to Danny on Sunday. I'm like, you think you would get up after a hit from this guy? Like,
he's a fantastic basketball player, too.
Danny's back's degenerate at 26
from one
years
round
old.
Okay. Well, give me a score prediction and let's get out of here for the Falcons game.
I'm going to go 28-10.
Go 30-13, pretty similar to last week.
28-3. That's my prediction.
28-3, that would be epic.
If that's 28-3, you talk about just having Atlanta in a chokehold. If Vrabel might do it, he might do it. Be like, we got to give up.
If it gets to 28-3, he may just take a knee and then stop him.
Middle of the third quarter, take 20 knees. All right, well, that's a wrap, I guess.
That was a great episode. I hope you guys enjoyed Robert Spillane. I enjoyed playing with him. I enjoy watching him now. I mean, he plays the game the way it should be played. And I think for guys like you and I, 2 undrafted guys, similar story to him. When you see a guy who busts his ass and can get to where he's at now, the heart and soul of that defense and the way he plays the game, you love to see it.
Yeah, New England's got a football team.
They do.
They got a football team.
All right, looking forward to next week.
And the expectations are rising, and that's a good thing. So look forward to seeing y'all next week. Check us out anywhere you get your podcast and NBC Sports Boston.